special edition of Daily Delivery. I'm Michael Rand. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Coming to you from the Star Tribune All-Metro Sports Awards program that the Star Tribune, in conjunction with several other partners, hosted the other night, Tuesday at Target Field. I went into it kind of tasked and thinking about doing a special edition podcast. Didn't quite know what that would look like, and then I had the opportunity to interview Luka Garza from the Timberwolves, asking him all sorts of questions about his impact growing up, how he kind of overcame obstacles to become an NBA player, some good advice for the young high school award winners and teams in attendance, but plenty of Timberwolves stuff. Some good stuff about Caitlin Clark as well. So I decided that's definitely going to be part of this kind of special edition podcast. I also had a chance to talk to Mark Dolo Harris for quite a while I was out there. He was the Difference Maker Award winner for his work at Minneapolis Henry High School, with several of the athletic programs there, the football team, just an all-around good person at that school. Patrick Henry will be renamed, by the way, Camden High very soon here, just a couple months here when the fall starts up again. But had a chance to talk to him and thought, man, this was really good. This has to be a part of the podcast too. So that's kind of where I landed on this. So I'm going to run the pretty much the whole interview that I had with Luka Garza. This was on stage with the hundreds of folks in attendance. Had a good question from the audience beforehand, stuff like that. So here I am with Timberwolves big man Luka Garza. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Grateful to be here today. This is really special. We didn't have anything like this when I was in high school, so it's really cool to see that that there's enough care and love for the high school athletes around here to do something like this.
I've got a bunch of questions for you, but I was actually kind of working the crowd downstairs, and I came across Tremere White, senior to be at Minneapolis Henry. I don't know where Tremere is right now, but there he is. Hey, Tremere. I said I'm going to be talking to you pretty soon. He said he wants to know what are some of the obstacles you had to overcome to get from, everybody starts out young. I know you had a lot of athletic history in your background, but how do you get from good basketball player to the NBA?
Yeah, it's a long journey. When I got into high school, I was 6'7", but I couldn't dunk. I was the least athletic guy on the team. I didn't play much my freshman year at all. People thought just because I was tall, I was supposed to go out there and dominate, but I wasn't ready for it yet. And for me, it's just continued step by step, enjoying the process, loving the process of putting in the work and seeing the benefits from that, and just loving the game and playing it as much as you can. And so throughout high school, I was able to take jumps every offseason because I just really went into the offseason with the mindset of what can I improve, whether that was asking coaches that I was being coached by, what they thought of my game or what they thought of my season, and just being able to hear that. A lot of times we are so prideful within ourselves that we can't hear criticism, and I welcomed it, and it's something that's followed me my entire career and motivated me and continue to help me push every single chance I get to improve myself.
Is that good advice for everybody out here? Sounds like it is.
Yeah, absolutely. No matter what you do, that's always how you have to be, is able to be open to what you can do to be better. There's no perfection in anything, and I think Kobe Bryant always talked about that, and he was always chasing perfection, even though he knew he wasn't going to get it. He always chased that because you land somewhere pretty good if you do.
Speaking of which, you had a lot of options when you were being recruited. Recruiting was a little different maybe then. Mm-hmm. You didn't have NIL, even just a little while ago, right? But the process is still pretty complicated, I imagine. What was it like when a lot of big name schools, you kind of had your pick of a lot of schools? How was that process?
Yeah, I think that's, probably the most important thing. The best decision I ever made was going through that process and taking my time and choosing to go to Iowa. For me, my recruiting process was extremely slow. After, my sophomore season, I started to receive offers in the low to mid-level Division I schools, but I was obviously wanting to be a high major guy. And, so are so many of us athletes when we're, in college. And it took me a while to get there. I was going into my last season of AAU, and really the only high major I had on the table was Iowa. And, all those big schools kind of came through when I broke through in that last AAU season. But for me, I was able to not get stranded away from the bigger name schools, and I think that's something I see so much from guys I know that I played against in high school that should be where I'm at, but they chose the wrong school, and it detrimented their career. And so for me, I chose what I knew was the best option, not the best big name school, but the best option for me, and it really worked out.
You had a pretty nice career at Iowa. You were National Player of the Year, I think, your senior year.
Yeah.
Not bad. That said, I've got some bad news for you. You might not be the most famous Iowa basketball player.
I know that
right now. What do you think of Caitlin Clark? How much do you know her?
Yeah, she's absolutely incredible. For me, she was a freshman when I was a senior in college, and you see how much she was in the gym, and she had a big name around her in high school, but she was always determined for more, and you saw that every single season, even when she wasn't really getting the attention necessarily that she got her senior year. I mean, she came in and averaged 27 as a freshman, and she should have been talked about as she is now, but it took her a while, once she got on that big stage in the NCAA tournament and put on a show, people started to recognize that we were witnessing something we'll probably never see again, and that's how special she is, and she's changed, not just women's basketball, she's changed basketball in general, and she's a great dear friend of mine, and I'm so proud of her and happy for her to continue to succeed, and she's going to do great things in the WNBA as well.
Is it wild to just see what she did for Iowa too? Just like you did big things for Iowa, but like what she did?
Yeah, no, it was incredible, and I think in that program that Lisa Bluter has, there's so many people that laid the groundwork for that, and Megan Gustafson was somebody who came in before her, who was the National Player of the Year, and that was the first person I'd seen, up close in person, be able to, reach those kind of heights, and for our school to have three people within a short amount of time be able to hoist that for the university, it's truly special. And Caitlin, took it to a whole nother level and took what both me and Megan did and, took it as far as anybody will and anybody ever will.
NBA draft starts tomorrow. It's 2 nights now. I don't know. Seems a little excessive to me, but that's okay. You heard your name called a few years ago, second-round pick. What was that process like, and kind of waiting it out, kind of making your mark at that point?
Yeah, the process was interesting to say the least. You coming out of college, there was a lot of narratives around my game and being too slow, and that's kind of what I mentioned earlier and what I faced in high school as well. And so after winning the National Player of the Year, I was open to all the criticism and understood it and knew I had to change pretty much my entire game, my body, and I lost 30 pounds in the process. And was able to kind of transform myself in a little bit different looking type of player, and still continuing to work on that. But that allowed and helped me out with a lot of NBA teams, and got me into a really good situation in Detroit, just in terms of opportunity and the coaching staff that was there. I was coached by a NBA Coach of the Year in Dwayne Casey, and learned a lot in my 1 year there, and then came here, and it's been a really, really fun ride when I've been here.
Was it hard to hear, when you're National Player there, is it hard to hear, you got to do this differently, you got to be better?
That's kind of what I spoke about before is being able to, people are always going to say something, but what do you do with that? And, I took that and try to use it for something positive. How can this help me? If someone is speaking about me, good or bad, I'm going to make it work for me either way. Everyone had a lot to say, and I understood, for me, I understand, and I'm a realistic guy, and I know, the way the game is played and different things like that. But for me, I'm always able to adjust no matter what level I'm on. And, just kind of still looking back at the, second round, there's not a lot of the guys that are still hanging around in the NBA, and I'm managing to find a way.
Absolutely. And you had quite a season with the Wolves. You're a bit of a fan favorite. I think that's fair to say, right? Like, what's that like? What's it like being in Target Center, especially when we're just right across the way from it right now? What's it like when it's so energized this year? What was this season like in particular?
It was so cool to see it build from the previous year to now, and the fans that continue to support and saw us figure it out. When the Rudy trade happened and all of that, there was a lot of question marks and people didn't know what it was going to look like. And as soon as we kind of really started to find our groove and figure it out this year, it was so much fun to be in the building and be one of the most exciting places to play in the league. And that took on into the playoffs, and those are some of the best environments that I've ever played in.
A couple more things, Luka. Really appreciate you being here tonight and sharing all this with everybody, and myself included. Take us behind the scenes just a little bit with the team you had last year. Who are the funniest guys? We hear Ant all the time at the podium. Is he that funny behind the scenes?
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody is everything you see on Twitter, everything you see on Instagram or whatever about Ant, he is that way 100% of the time. He is. He has so much energy. I don't know where it comes from. He's 22 years old, so it's probably from there. But, he is that way 100% of the time, no matter what you're doing, no matter what game you're playing, if it's Madden, if it's, just talking in the locker room, if it's competing and shooting games, he's going at everyone that same way with that mindset, and that's what makes him special. And, we have so many characters in the locker room that are so fun, and Rudy and Carl, for me as a big man, have been so great since I got there, taking me to dinner on the road, kind of teaching me, the way of life in the league and how they've made it and paved their own way, and everyone else speaks for itself.
Right.
Nikhil, you're basically being around a fashion icon, so you get to learn from that. And there's just so many great dudes on this roster.
Who's an underrated character on the team?
Josh Minot. I think he's probably the funniest guy on the team.
Okay.
But people don't know too much about that. But they will. He's a young kid. He's going to be really good in this league. But he just has a extremely funny personality and looks at life in a really positive way. And it's cool to be around someone like that.
Maybe we can kind of bring this full circle. What's one thing you're working on right now to have a bigger impact, even more next year for this team?
Yeah, I think there's so much. I can go into really details about the basketball skills and pocket playmaking and the defensive versatility and being able to switch. But it's a little bit boring. But I think in general, it's just continuing to assess, my seasons, my film, reach out to coaches. I've been doing that. That's what my dad taught me to do when I was in 5th, 6th grade. Bring a notepad to your AAU coach or high school coach, ask them what you need to work on. I've been doing that with high school coaches, AAU coaches, NBA front office.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
And that's the easiest way is the people that are around you, that get to decide if you play or not, and what they tell you is valuable. And so that's a skill for. I tell to anyone to continue to do and never think you're too cool to do it. Even if you make it as far as you want to, there's always more to grow and more to learn. And that's what it's all about, is maximizing what God gave you and whatever He gave you.
And you had a lot of athletic bloodlines. Your whole family seems like they're athletes, right?
Yeah, no, I was really, really lucky. My dad played in college. My mother played professional. My aunt and uncle both played professional overseas. All three of my cousins play in Italy right now. Grandpa played in college. So, my other grandfather was a goalie, played
soccer,
against
right?
Pele back in the day.
Wow.
So I had a bunch of athletes in my family to kind of teach me that mindset, and that's why I feel like I've been able to curate how I view the game and how I view improving within the game.
Luka Garza, appreciate it. What great words of wisdom, and like I said, for my money, definitely the most likable Luka. You don't have to say that, but I'll say that right now.
I'll take it.
Thanks, Luka. Appreciate it so much.
For sure.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, really good stuff from Luka. I hadn't talked to him that extensively before, but Really found him to be engaging. He was there for most of the entirety of the awards ceremony and even the pre-show stuff. He was taking lots of pictures with folks. He was playing mini golf, having a good time. So it was good to see him kind of out with everybody and representing the Timberwolves very well. So appreciate Luka Garza going on stage and offering up all that insight that he did offer to everyone just now. Like I said at the beginning, I also had a chance to talk to Mark Dolo Harris. Dolo is his nickname, what everybody calls him. I didn't know too much about him other than what I'd read about him from the Difference Maker Award. Kevin Bertles, the high school sports editor at the Star Tribune, did a terrific piece on him and did a great on-stage interview with Mark Dolo Harris. I caught up with him before everything started and had a good chance to have a good conversation with him as well. So let's play that right now, just kind of talking about his impact and why he was our Difference Maker winner. All right, I got Mark Dolo Harris out here with me at the All Metro Sports Awards. Mark, you are the Difference Maker. Tell me your story. What got you here?
Just a kid from North Minneapolis, man. I was motivated off my story on how I came up in the inner city. I became a big promoter, a big entertainer in the Minneapolis area. With that, grew me stature to where I had people that was like, hey, you should go give back to the kids. And I was 100% with that, especially with everything that I grew up enduring. I lost multiple best friends. I've been shot myself twice. Life, I wouldn't say was going down. I felt like I just needed extra motivation on top of what I was already doing for Minneapolis, okay? So when I got offered to get a job with CEO, which is Change Equals Opportunity with Jamil Jackson, I took it instantly. He called me and said, listen, we have a center downtown. I want you to throw youth events there. That's how I first started.
Okay.
I want you to throw youth events down here. So I went to the center, and while he was at the center, he was hosting a meeting.
Okay.
And I'm like, what's the meeting for? He said, we're finna start putting people in schools to work with kids. Okay. I'm like, really? I said, what schools? He said, Henry, Edison, North, Brooklyn Center, Hopkins. Once I heard Henry, I was sold. I was sold. I'm an alumni. I graduated in 2009.
Okay.
So I'm an alumni there.
Yeah.
So once I said, I want to go back and work for my old school. Okay. So just for the simple fact that I can connect with those kids quicker than I can connect with a kid from Hopkins. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah.
It's like, I know what you're waking up and going through every day.
You know what their experience is because you lived it.
You lived it. I understand that both parents might not be there. Both parents are there, but then they probably work to make sure that you're good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So if I could take that extra stress off somebody, let me do that. So what did I do? I went there. I became a football coach. I went there and became one of the head coaches when it came to grade checks. You know what I'm saying? I gotta make sure I can build you up as a great athlete, but if your grades is not there, it's all for nothing.
It's probably some tough love, right?
It's a lot of tough love. Like, I have to be professional right now with you, but when I'm around them kids,
but
they hear it, but they understand it's coming from love.
And they probably want it to a certain degree. Some kids want to be held accountable. They want to know where they stand, right?
That's exactly what it is, and I'm that guy. Okay. I'm that guy, and so then I thought, like, how can I hold them accountable? I started 6 a.m. When I was going to Henry, the basketball team was probably one of the best basketball teams in the state.
Yeah, I remember that.
My junior year, we went to state.
Yeah,
so
Mackenzie was there for a long time.
Yeah, so, we was doing 6 a.m. That was just something I was accustomed to. Like, basketball players, you do 6 a.m. workouts, So what I did is I came up with the AD said, can I do 6 a.m.? Yes, you can. Okay. I created 6 a.m.s. I only had 3 kids at first that was coming there because it was close. So now I'm asking kids, what do I have to do to get you to come work out and hold yourself accountable? Yeah. Pick me up. I'm picking up 7 kids at one time, dropping them off, going to get another 7 kids, dropping them off, going to get another 7 kids, and doing all this by 6:30 to start the workout.
When did you start your day?
So that's why I used to work out at 8 in the morning anyway. I didn't start this actual school work until 11. Okay. Sometimes I'll go in at 10 o'clock just to give them an extra hour because it's just bonding time. I see it as bonding time.
Right.
But really, that's where I got super locked in with the school and the kids because they said, man, this man's waking up at 6 in the morning and he's not getting paid for nothing. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm not. Money's not the issue. I was successful, like I said, I was successful in another industry and came to this industry. So it wasn't about the money. It was about gaining a connection and being that person for the kids and being an advocate for the kids.
How does sports kind of tie into all that? I feel like it's a big piece of it.
I was a football player. Yeah. And I love football. So when we all grew up, I'm 33. I don't know how old you are.
I'm 47. I'm older than you. I'm way older than you.
At the same time, we was holding accountable because our parents used to put us in sports. There wasn't no options.
Right.
You're either going to play football, basketball, baseball, hockey.
Right.
You're doing
going to do something.
You're doing something. You're not going to sit in the house playing video games like kids do now.
Right.
You're not finna do, but the worst thing about our neighborhood is kids get bored and do other stuff like steal cars. Start game banging. Start hanging around the wrong people. I don't want to see them go down that rabbit hole. That state team with Mandela Jackson and Jordan Hughes, they both passed away in 2012. Those were my best friends. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want them. Now I use that story for them at all times. Like, listen, bro, you had greats that come from this school that's gone now. You know what I'm saying? You had you can be one of the greats from this school and change the narrative. So that's what my whole motto is: change the narrative.
Change the narrative.
Change the narrative. Because I feel like being from North Minneapolis or being from Minneapolis, or North Minneapolis for sure, I feel like some people don't say it, but they have a certain, judgment about
perception.
it. Perception and judgment.
Fair
about
or not, it's perception. It's what it is.
But at the same time, you don't know what these kids are going through.
Absolutely not.
Are you helping change what these kids are going through?
Right.
I can't be one of those what they call old heads, as the kids be called. You're old head. I can't be that old head.
You're only 33. You're not an old head.
I'm not. Trust me. I tell them, I'm like, bro, I'm not an old head. I be looking at them like, bro, I'm not an old head.
Not yet.
Anyway, but at the same time, I can't be that older adult that says, oh, the kids is this, the kids is this. What are you doing to change it?
Right.
What are you doing to help?
Right. And kids are still kids, right?
They're kids. They don't know.
No.
You know, though. You're an adult. You know. You done been through life. Why are you not going back and helping them? Why are you not going back helping those kids fresh out of high school that's just got done off the football team, maybe not playing football ever again? Why are you not helping them get trades and learn financials? You know what I'm saying? So it's just, that's what I'm there for, and that's what I want to be there for my community in a whole. I got offered jobs after I was coaching to go coach others. I'm good. I'm staying in my community.
Sports are a big part of that, right? Like, it's how you kind of connect everybody.
I mean, sports got me offered another job. But at the end of the day, I'm connected with the kids deeper than sports. And that's what it is. We have to teach these kids stuff is deeper than sports. You know what I'm saying? We want that to be your number one priority if you really feel like you can make it. Work like you're going to make it. Work like you want to. But at the same time, you still have to have that plan on what can I do to come help somebody younger than me. You know,
life's
if I make it
at some point.
Life is going to happen. If I make it D1, you got to come tell that story to that 6th grader that's coming right to your school after you. You got to come back and hold your camps. And all that teaching that them coaches just teach you, come teach that to the kids. So that's where I feel like sports come in. You have to pass down. That's something generational you can pass down. It's knowledge.
That's awesome. Any final words of wisdom? You got a lot of people here. This is great. This is great.
Keep going, man. Don't worry about who's watching. I didn't worry about who was watching. Don't worry about the money. I didn't worry about the money. I didn't do none of that. It wasn't about getting paid. It wasn't about who's watching me, who's going to show me the love when it's there. Man, I'm going to do what I got to do regardless. What's going to make me happy and what's going to show me love is when I make this 17-year-old kid to a man and he come back 25 and I have a son that's 7, he's coming to teach him, hey man, your dad used to be on me like this. Your dad used to be on me like this. I have to be on you like that. And guess what I'm going to say? Can't do nothing about that, son. I did the same thing to him.
and then one day that 7-year-old does the same thing.
That changed the narrative.
Passes along.
Changes the narrative.
Beautiful. Well,
simplest way to put it.
I love talking to you. This was great. Congratulations on your honor tonight and everything you're doing. All right. Thanks, Mark.
Appreciate you, man.
All right. And again, thanks to everybody who came. Congratulations to all the All Metro Sports Award winners. I think this was year 8 or 9 of the awards. I've been to a bunch of them. They're lots of fun. They honor the best of the best from high school sports, not just on the field but off the field as well. So something to strive for. Anybody out there you could be an All Metro Sports Award winner in 2025. You never know. Keep this thing going. But I hope you enjoyed my conversations with Luka Garza and Mark Dolo Harris. Thanks for listening today to the special episode. We'll be back on Friday talking hockey with Sarah McClellan. Until then, I'm Michael Rand. We'll talk to you soon.